distinguished guests, distinguished Wang Hong, distinguished Liu Dongsheng, distinguished Dr. Bruno,
Director General of IUCN, respected Ms. Patricia Truvita, CEO of BirdLife International. Distinguished guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen from around the world, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. I'm Zhang Xinsheng, the chair of the World Coastal Forum Established Group and the former president of IUCN, as well as former chairman of the United Nations Education, Science, and Culture Organization. It is my great pleasure to speak to you and to brief you this very exciting initiative, World Coastal Forum. 下面一段我用中文来讲。3天前，各位，在联合国湿地公约组织第14次缔约方大会上，中国国家主席习近平向全世界宣布。
3 days ago, in COP14, Chinese President Xi Jinping made an announcement to the world that China supports the convening of a conference of the World Coastal Forum. As the chair of the World Coastal Forum Establishment Group, on behalf of all 22 members of the group, 2 observers of the United Nations Convention Secretariat, and 2 senior international advisors, I would like to express our sincere thanks and highest respect to President Xi Jinping of Chinese Republic of China, representatives of the Chinese government, and organizer of this forum, the Ministry of Natural Resources of China and State Forestry and Grassland Administration. In view of the fact that this forum is a global convention with United Nations, I will report to all of the delegates and guests in English on the progress achieved by the establishment group in the past year.
并方便与会代表各位深入交流研讨，分享你们的真知灼见
as well as facilitating our discussion, expanding our exchanges, enhancing our consensus, as well as the impact and influence of the forum.
I think this is a better way to facilitate in-depth exchange, share insights, and continuously deepen and expand the consensus so as to elevate the influence, community power, and the driving forces of our WCF. Ladies and gentlemen, you have already heard from the opening speeches and elsewhere at the conferences that coastal wetlands worldwide are under pressure, and there have been increasing calls for urgent action at a local, national, and international level. It is undisputable now the functioning coastal ecosystems are of critical importance, including as nature-based solutions to the climate and the biodiversity crisis. They can help protect coastal communities from the effect to sea level rise. They reduce disasters risk in the face of climate change, exacerbated extreme weather events, and provide blue carbon storage. They also provide other non-market ecosystem services, such as purification of water and air, and a range of market services, including the fisheries, other nature products, recreation, and of course, tourism. Indeed, they are integrally linked to the livelihood and the well-being of the coastal communities and provide essential economic opportunity for local people. These ecosystems are vital to a wide range of the biodiversity, including the survival of many migratory species, such as water birds, that ecologically connect nations and continents. Indeed, as all the seas are connected, coasts are the most internationally shared ecosystems and provide a critical interface between terrestrial and marine ecosystems. Coastal ecosystems the world over have a common and shared challenges and opportunities for their sustainable management. Ladies and gentlemen, the last Ramsar COP14 and the Convention on Migratory Species COP12 agreed resolutions that called for attention to the plight of the coastal wetland and the associated habitats, where human development over the last decades has taken their toll, with consequent declines in biodiversity and ecosystem services. These resolutions called for a global coastal forum to facilitate collaborative action and learning, and were followed by decisions of the Convention on Biodiversity, on Biological Diversity, and IUCN that only strengthened this call. Dear guests, in response to these calls, in late 2021, a group of shapers, international organizations, expert institutions convened to discuss how to establish this forum. These discussions culminated in an international advisory meeting on the World Coastal Forum held in January 10, 2022 in Xinsheng City, Jiangsu Province, China, with a global online participation of governments, conventions, international NGOs, and experts. The meeting was hosted by People's Republic of China's Ministry of Nature Resources and the Jiangsu Provincial People's Government. It agreed to set up an establishment group for the World Coastal Forum. The international voluntary and informal World Coastal Forum established group held its first meeting in February 2022, supported by Eco Foundation Global and BirdLife International. We are so fortunate to have had dedicated and active participants from a number of agencies and organizations from around the world, including government agencies, flyway initiatives in Americas, the East Asia-Australia Flyway, the Secretariat of the Wadden Sea World Heritage Site, philanthropic organizations, and a number of international NGOs and advisors. Over the last months, the establishment group has held a total of 4 virtual meetings of its members and a growing number of observers from government agencies and other key stakeholders. In addition, under the establishment group, we set up voluntary task teams to do much of the work, namely for the development of institutional framework, international engagement, local and subnational government engagement, science and evidence. These groups have drafted an indicating program of the work for the coming 2 years. The overall aim is for the WCF to be established as a voluntary platform for knowledge sharing, learning, and networking to facilitate action for conservation, including protection management, wise use, and the restoration of the coastal ecosystems. It will do this through catalyzing, facilitating, promoting local, national, and international efforts that support synergetic science and evidence-based delivery of international commitment to conserve coastal ecosystems. Ladies and gentlemen, our teams are drafting terms of reference for creation of a flagship report, The State of the World Coasts, and a free online World Coastal Conservation Toolkit to underpin the work of the forum. A wide range of elements is proposed to be covered in these toolkits, such as evidence gathering, the guidance production on solutions to coastal ecosystems management and restoration. Based on feedback, it is felt that a coastal stakeholder analysis will be needed to ensure optimal collaboration with existing coastal ecosystem conservation initiatives, projects, research, stakeholders to ensure inclusiveness, avoid fragmentation and duplication of the efforts, to ensure stakeholders deliver at a scale that is more than the sum of their parts. We have seen growing interest in this initiative and aim to create a coalition of the willingness to demonstrate new synergies to support the protection, conservation management, wise use, and the restoration of the coastal ecosystems around the world. This is also very much in line with the core of COP14 Revolution 18.8 of creating greater synergies between multilateral environmental agreement and others, as will be essential in order to reach the targets set by post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework next month. Being ambitious and recognizing the urgency of this collaborative work, we have hoped that we would have been further ahead by now. However, we realize that the WCF should be launched with a strong government and wider support from around the world, and inevitably, this takes time. That is why, to build a greater collective understanding of priorities and opportunities, we propose to organize a major conferences in 2023 to finalize these plans and to move ahead. You will hear more about the initial thinking of this presented shortly now. We plan to continue to work through our WCF establishment group and its existing task teams, considering set up a few more to deal with some priorities such as restoration, sustainable management, protection, public awareness, raising, and more. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so encouraged to see the growing interest in and commitment to our World Coastal Forum initiative from different stakeholders worldwide. It is wonderful we have a chance to share our ideas here at this important Ramsar conference that brings together national and subnational government agencies charged with responsibility for better managing and restoring our world wetlands. 最后，我想特别强调的是，虽然我们来自全球的5湖4海。
Finally, I would like to stress that it is so important that we can all find ways to work together to support national and local governments and communities, to find new ways to work even more effectively to conserve their coastal resources for now and future generations. Together, we can do better, and we look forward to the World Coastal Forum. We will surely do better together.
We really look forward to the World Coastal Forum. Please share your ideas, ladies and gentlemen, all the delegates and the participants, both online and in hybrid way, and in virtual way. Share with us about what you need for this new international forum to help deliver on your coastal wetland conservation commitments. We also do welcome indications of interest and willingness to engage with the process of establishment of the forum, as well as to share experience, wisdom, and expertise to implement actions to achieve common global objectives. Thank you. 谢谢. Merci.